let's go ahead and have our third near protocol working group call today, and we'll have this recording on YouTube. Hopefully you will recap and watch it and let us know what you want to hear during the calls, maybe in the future. But let's move on and see what we have for today. So our agenda for today, I will do some quick recap of the developer governance. I will do introductions of the panelists who joined us today. And then we will get through the main topic for today, which is the NAP 448, zero balance account. And then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A and the ways how you can get involved in the developer governance ecosystem. So quick updates. The developer governance is still shaping, and we are building this framework for the whole community of developers in your ecosystem. And we speak about it in terms of 4 buckets where people can find themselves willing to participate. And that is ideation, implementation, review, and support. So let me just quickly highlight what each of them are doing and what the idea there. So when we are talking about ideation, we believe that there are tons of bright ideas that has not been explored yet, and the best way we can support them is to have the place where we can discuss them, and developer governance gigs board is such a place. So it's hosted on your social, and it's in active development right now, but you can already jump into it and post your ideas and find other ideas in the ecosystem and start discussions over there. Another way to get involved is through participating in the community groups. We have already plenty of them. If you're interested in topics like zero knowledge, wallet standards, Python tooling, whatnot, you can join the existing ones. If you don't have, you don't see one on the list, just go and start your own. And then once the idea is there, implementation needs to happen. And this is also the place where we envision the discussion to happen, which is the gigs board. So again, jump there and just comment and propose your solutions. But sometimes you want to have the idea in a sense that is reusable across many partners, community members, and that is the place where you can go with a submission of enhanced of the NAP. Near enhancement proposals are still happening on the GitHub, but we will potentially move them over to gigs board in the future. We'll see. Overall, I think it still works pretty well over there. So jumping on the github.com/near/naps and participate in the discussion there. Reviews, and this is where we are standing today, actually, and that is the essential part of every idea is to get enough of a review from the experts in the area, and in order to gain support and also save time sometimes instead of going in the wrong direction. So currently we have 4 developer working groups, the protocol one, which is the call we're having today, the contract standards working group, the wallet standards, and the tooling. The validator working group is currently shaping, so it's I think we will announce it soon. Stay tuned. And Zero Knowledge community group is also quite active, which means that soon enough we'll probably have the working group there as well. So today we are talking about NAP, which is a more formal, the change to the protocol, which requires us to go through some formal process and discuss the potential risks for the whole community. So the NAP process involves four roles, that is the author who is writing the proposal, then moderators helping to get everybody on the same page, reviewers and subject matter experts, and approvers who we currently have on the call for the protocol working group. So this is the high-level process for the life cycle of the NAP. And today we will talk about specifically about this transition from review to voting. Cool. And the last but not least is a support part of the developer governance that we are actively working on, is how to make sure that the community has all the resources to get the ideas implemented, and that also includes funding, which is also integrated in the GIGS board in the form of sponsorships and certain pipelines that are transparent and visually represented on the GIGS board. So that was the recap. Let's jump into the introductions, and I'm happy to see our panelists already joined and on the call. So let's start with the protocol working group members, and I'll invite Bowen to introduce himself.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Bowen, head of protocol at Pagoda. Very nice to see you here, and yeah, looking forward to discuss this NEP.
Awesome. Marcelo.
Hi everyone, Marcelo here. I've been working in the New York system for a long time, previously working also at Aurora. Looking forward to improve the protocol of NIR. In particular, excited about this NEP we're about to discuss.
Awesome. Marcin.
Hi, I'm Marcin. I'm the tech lead of the protocol at Pagoda. And yes, let's discuss how we can improve the protocol then.
Yeah, everybody is so excited to get through it and get to the NEP discussion already. Alex Kirky has not joined us today, but we have his attestation posted in public on GitHub. So I will just act as a moderator and pass his vote indication on the call. So from the, let me introduce, so basically we have a team of moderators behind the developer governance. Today on the call, only I is on the call. I'm Vlad. I also work at Pagoda, and I've been with NIR Ecosystem since quite early on, and I'm excited to see that we have this whole process for the developers support done through the governance. Cool. And today we have the NEP author, who happens to be also the working group member. So we don't need to go through the introduction once again, but it's very important to, still to recognize that the working group members are still actively participating in authoring the NEPs to make and improve the protocol. Cool. So just FYI, on the Zoom call, we have all cool opportunities and ways to participate in this call. Ask any questions in Q&A section. Just throw some chat messages in the chat if you feel you just want to leave a comment, just make sure you are posting to everybody in this, like in the drop down. And if you want to speak, please raise your hand and I will invite you to the stage. Cool. So the NAP, finally. So we will discuss the snap right now, but before we go, maybe AI can do it for us better. Just joking. It was a discussion on the near social after the announcement was made. Ilya asked Mr. 27 to summarize it for us. But I think Bowen will do it better. So I'm inviting Bowen to speak here.
Yeah, actually, I think Ms. 27 did a pretty good job of summarizing the NAP. So the reason why we want to introduce this concept of zero balance account is that we want to make it easy for user to onboard onto Near. Today, in order for you to do so, a user have to have enough token to pay for their account storage in order for them to even create an account. And that means the user have to acquire that initial amount of Near, even though it is a small amount somewhere, either maybe from someone else who has Near or from, let's say, a centralized exchange. And overall, that experience is not optimal. And in addition, previously we discussed the meta transaction proposal, but there was one item that was left unaddressed, which is how meta transaction would work for implicit account. The problem with implicit account is that it's not clear whether a meta transaction to an implicit account that has not been created, how that should be handled. And the with introduction of the zero balance account, it could be essentially addressed in two steps. In the first step, you create the implicit account, and after its creation, now it can take advantage of meta transactions as well. So this would also work nicely with the meta transaction that we approved previously. So yeah, I think that is a warm summary of what the snap is about.
Awesome. Thank you, Bowen. I'd like to invite Marcin to cover the benefits and concerns the community and working group members and subject matter experts collected during the review.
Right. So as Bowen mentioned, this snap allows us to onboard people far easier, right? They don't have to go through the step of acquiring additional tokens, which is a great benefit. One question was at which moment we start charging. And sorry, I went too far. So these are the advantages, right? Most of the problems actually are on the next slide. And here, the first question was around like, okay, at which moment we should actually start charging people, right? Today we picked, I think, two, if I remember correctly, 2 full access keys and 2 partial keys. There was a question of like, hey, could we increase it to something higher, right? The answer was like, yes, we can always change it to something like 4. There's a deeper analysis in the GitHub of how much additional thing would cost. One other drawback of this snap is that lack of storage staking means people have less motivation to remove things. In the past, even if you have an account and you removed it, you got these tiny bits of Near back. Here with 0 cost, it means you have no incentive to do so. In practice, from what we've seen, not many people were actually like incentivized by this small fee to remove the account. So we don't think it's going to be a big problem there. The concern number 3 was around what will happen when a user exceeds the amount of free keys. And here we are pushing it towards the UX to solve this problem. Basically, the moment the user gets the 3rd key, they will have to pay for all the free keys, which is still a tiny amount, right? We're talking like 0.01 Near, whatnot. So we think that the UX and the front end will be able to solve that. As a part of this snap, we had to increase the account creation cost. there was a risk that it could break some of the existing contracts. The good news is that after analysis, we figured out only one contract is actually affected. So no other contracts were depending on this. So we should be free to deploy this. And last but not least, the increase of the account creation means that we are actually able to create less accounts per block. Right? In the past, I think we were able to create like 500 per block. Now it drops to like 100 plus. From what we've seen, which means that if you want to enroll 1 million users, it's going to take you a little bit longer to do so. From what we've seen in the previous examples like Sweatcoin, whatnot, those large launches actually tend to be very conservative and slow when adding new users, and they try to do it like before. So we think that this drawback will also not cause too many troubles to future launches. So all and all, like most of the problems are solvable or like are resolved, which leaves us only with the benefits. So
nice. I'd like other working group members to maybe speak to it if you have any additional context that was not covered.
Well, one comment regarding point 4 is that there is actually one contract that breaks with this change, but not actually, right? Because you can always increase the gas of creating the account, and in that particular contract, you can do it. So the contract is not broken per se. And that's
yes,
great as well.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It seems like we have pretty good overview here, and we are ready to get to the voting stage. So it sounds like we have like pretty good benefits and all the concerns resolved, but I still want to hear from each individual working group member your voting decision. We can go in random order. Let's go my screen. Marcelo, what do you think?
Yeah, sure. As I wrote on GitHub, I lean towards approving this NEP. Actually, I vote yes towards approving this NEP. As you mentioned, like concerns are not real concerns, and benefits definitely are better than not having this. So yeah.
Awesome. Marcin.
I also vote to approve the snap. You know, it's onboarding is one of the critical things that we must get right when it comes to comes to blockchain. Because with more users come more use cases, comes more adoptions, and that's why we're building here. So all the apps that do help push this goal forward, I'm happy to approve. So yes, I do approve.
Awesome. And Bowen.
I don't think I should participate in the voting process.
But still, like, do you see any blockers there in terms of?
No, I mean there's no blocker per se. I think there was a question of whether we want to increase the number of full access key allowed to 4. I think we did some calculation and we think that should also be feasible. Yeah, so I think it's just like a small decision we need to finalize, but yeah, otherwise I think yeah, we're good.
Awesome, yeah. And I will also represent the Alex Hierke decision, which he posted on the GitHub. He was also supporting this NEP. So we have 4 yeses here, and yay, the NEP is approved. I think that is the nice outcome of all the calls. It's very exciting. So let's talk about the next steps. Bowen, may I ask you to walk us through?
Yeah. So as I said, one of the important things is to actually finalize the account creation cost, and this also includes. It also depends on the exact number of full access keys we want to allow. So it would be a difference between either 6 teragas or like 7.6 teragas. I mean, it's not a very material difference, but we just have to finalize that decision. And then, yeah, we need to obviously stabilize the protocol change. And I should mention that the implementation is already merged into Near Core, and there is actually a link to the implementation.
Yeah. Cool. We will also need to formally approve the NAP itself on the GitHub. I mean, just hit the approve buttons over there. And,
yes. The NAP itself needs to be merged. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that stuff.
Yeah, and then from our previous experience, it was great to include the benefits and concerns at the end of the NAP as a document, just to for the future reference. If we would ever need to review why certain decisions were happening, it wouldn't require us to recap the whole conversation again. But I can take it offline and we'll discuss later. Cool. It seems like it's happening, and if implementation is there and it's the only step is left is stabilization. Bowen, do you have any estimations about the direction of stabilization? How long will it take to stabilize the feature?
Yeah, it shouldn't take more than a week. I think a week or two, I would say. Yeah.
And then next release 132.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, let's see if we yeah, so basically that was very quick decision making here. I think we were pretty aligned on stuff, so it's time for Q&A. I don't see any questions in the chat or in the Q&A section, so feel free to drop any there, but meanwhile, we'll just move on. So just to recap the getting involved part of it. So as you have seen, this is it is a process, and we need to stick to it in order to allow independent participants to contribute, and the experts to take the time to review it. But overall, the idea that we are welcoming people who want to contribute and submit their ideas, participate in the developments. So please go to devgovgigs.near.social website and review what's already there, and consider to post your ideas. If you have something more low level that would be a greater good for everybody to standardize upon, like a protocol change or contract standards change, or maybe some wallet standards that everybody would benefit from, consider to submit an app. It would be better if you probably start from the community groups first and discuss before going and spending your time and energy into writing an app. Validate your idea first, but overall, NAPs is a great way to get the improvement at scale. And then I want to also bring to attention that the NAPs specifically are visualized on the GitHub. Their statuses are over there, so you can just follow this link and you'll see the ones that are still in draft, others that are in review or voting or approved if you're interested in learning what's there. You can also join this protocol community group on Telegram, which is also a pretty good idea. Yeah, in general, these are the resources to follow the whole Near Developer Governance initiative on the website or Twitter and Telegram channels. These are the handles that you can follow. Same near devgov.near account on Near Social is also cross-posting all the announcements. So join us in the social network. And I'd like to thank all the people who made it possible and contributed to the Near ecosystem during this particular NAP. I'd like to thank you, Bowen, for authoring the NAP and working through it when the reviewer coming. I'd like to thank you, all the working group members and subject matter experts who helped us to identify the corner cases. So thank you to the community who maybe were silent, but also potentially reviewed the NAP. And let's make it better with every NAP merged. Thanks, everybody.